night before Christmas to be good.
Okay, everything's rolling. Good. It's episode 10. All right. And in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 9th annual 12 podcast of Christmas. This is episode 10. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Francois Donation.
This is actually episode 11, and I'm Andrew Sorsdahl.
We figured it out. It's only 10.
How?
6 guests and 3 other ones.
No, but we have had Suede, so that's 7.
No, we counted all the guests. There's only 6.
No, we counted. Let's go through this on air right now. Let's figure this out. We filmed episode 1 by ourselves.
Yeah.
Then we had Chance.
Then we had
Funky Moose Guys.
Then we were ourselves.
Then we were by ourselves. Then we had Michaela.
Oh, Michaela's the one we forgot.
Then we had by ourselves.
So this is 10, or this is 11.
Yeah, we have 2 more to film.
So one of them we counted twice.
Yes.
Which one was it?
We probably said we did one more, but by ourselves than we actually did.
Yeah. The Michaela one is the one we forgot. So there's been 7 guests. The one with the Juggalos, the intro, and then the one that we just posted. So there's 10.
So which one got called the same
9.
number twice?
I'm assuming
Juggalo.
Suede and the one we just did by ourselves.
Yeah, the Juggalo one maybe was forgotten as a separate episode or whatever maybe.
Well, Juggalo is like 4 or 5.
Yeah, Juggalo must be 5.
I'll have to look. One of them we must have said the same
We've been
number
saying
twice.
episode 9 for like 3 episodes
Well,
now.
I just looked at the last 3, and the last 3 were properly titled. Like the Kit one's properly titled, the Suede one's properly titled. What, like, unless like one of the, like 6 or 7, we must have done 2 6s or 2 7s. Because like after that, they were properly titled.
Okay, well, count us in, Fran.
No, this is good. It's a good cold open. Let's go.
What do you mean it was cold open? Oh, you guys didn't fucking say your names.
I didn't say my name.
I see.
Sorry.
So I guess this is episode 11
Yeah.
of the Prehistoric Podcast. This is it. We're here. We're live. Hello. This is the new intro. This is what it'll be every time from now on, with the talking about the fact that it's the wrong number. This is all
whole
part
thing, yes,
of the
yes.
intro. I hope you like it. You saw your part yet? Now we wait, and now you go.
Did you say your name?
No, I'm Andrew Sorsdahl.
And I'm Prince William. Why is that meaningful, Andrew?
Because I'm sitting beside a filthy, no good monarchist, loves the monarchy, and he wanted to do an episode where we talked about
Thank you.
how good the monarchy was and
Thank you.
circle jerk about
Thank
how
you.
they're awesome. So
To celebrate, I have Googled
What are you celebrating?
celebrating us.
The death.
celebrating us talking about the
I
monarchy.
was gonna
To
say,
celebrate us talking about the monarchy and to celebrate the life of
There you go.
our most recent monarch, or our most recent past monarch. I looked up the Queen's favorite aperitif.
Her favorite drink.
Her favorite drink,
So
which happens
is
to be-
this the right brand and everything?
Yes.
Oh wow.
This is Dubonnet. It's a French liqueur. I'm sure she had a much nicer version of what this is, like a more reserve select.
What is that martini mixer?
No,
Can't
that's
see from here.
gin.
Oh, gin.
So
Oh,
she
that's
liked
right
a
there.
gin and a fortified red wine. So let's try this.
With lemon.
With
and
lemon.
ice.
And
I feel like
ice.
this is going to be a very old
person.
woman drink. Like zero.
Oh
like
my God, just smelling it smells like old lady perfume.
Actually,
not bad.
Yeah,
That's
it's
not
not bad
terrible.
at all.
It smells like old lady perfume, but tastes all right.
That's a palate refresher after dinner. That's not terrible at all. You can't really taste the gin, hardly.
Well, the gin mixes really nice with the
Yeah.
wine.
Kind of
It actually-
balance each other out really
It's
nicely.
actually fusing.
My
There's
God.
way too many gin-based drinks that
Just tastes
are
like
do
pine
not
needles.
the two ingredients do not complement each other at all, and it's just
You
gin.
just-
It's
yeah.
just gin forward. Like
And
a
you
lot of
just- yeah.
vodka-based drinks. Vodka does the same thing, but this is a combo, baby. You're tasting both at the same time. This is nice. I'm impressed, Queenie.
So, Andrew, why don't you read us a little bit from the bottle of the Queen's favorite fortified wine?
Dubonnet.
I believe it's pronounced Dubonnet.
Dubonnet apéritif à base de vin.
There should be some little English on the back, I think.
Produit de France. I don't have my glasses, so this is very tough to read because it's very small print and it's also dark on dark. So you're going to have to do it.
Created in Paris in 1864 by Joseph Dubonnet, which is funny. Yeah, there's their American Dad episode where Roger's one of his extra families is the Dubonnets. Joseph is the patriarch. Today, this aperitif captures an eternal appeal for the French Alt de Verre. True to its original and secret recipe, Dubonnet is made from select wines and mistels, which harmoniously blend with quinquina, orange rind, untoasted coffee beans, and other secret spices. The cellar master, heir to an ancestral savoir-faire, meticulously blends the Dubonnet, which then, in keeping with tradition, is aged in large oak casks. Dubonnet may be enjoyed on its own, chilled over ice in cocktails or in a drink. Boy, you know, I know this is a French wine, but if the Queen of England was her favorite drink, I would put that somewhere on the bottle.
Yeah, just for marketing purposes. Wow, fuck, do you though? Because like that's the thing. Monarchy is not a fucking universal, and the French do not. French are very fucking staunchly anti-monarchist. Like it's almost like unpatriotic in that country to like be reverent of monarchy.
Yeah.
Boy, is that not bad
They
at all.
got kind of there's a historical event over in that country that was kind of very like extreme.
Kind of shook how the rest of the world looked at upper classes.
That's not too sweet.
I wouldn't want to sit down and drink a pile of them, but like as a,
This in the summer would be delightful.
it's almost like a sangria almost.
Just
vibe.
kind of like a sangria vibe, very much like a
Like if
sangria.
we were outside and we had like a small metal circular table and
like,
some nice little seats, and we had like there's like
Yeah,
a nice something protecting us from the sun.
and like we all had veils on and like long gloves.
It was very prim and posh,
Yeah,
and it was like nice, very fresh cut grass.
little sandwiches with all the crust cut off, little cucumber sandwiches.
This would be
You know what? I might put this in roster of homemade drinks I'm going to have.
it's good.
It's good. I can't fault you for it. It's
If you are looking for
to our viewer, if you are looking for a refreshing
refreshing little drink,
like a red wine
and
based
if
thing.
you want to honor
And
Queen
kinda-
Elizabeth.
and kind of classy, it's red wine and gin. Like what's classier
Did you
than that?
try this just by itself?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay. I'm curious as to what that is.
It's probably quite sweet.
Maybe that's
It's a dessert wine.
I was gonna say
so
maybe it's
uh,
doing a lot of the heavy lifting here.
I think it is.
It's-
It is 2 parts Dubonnet,
It's-
1 part gin.
It's fortified wine, so it'll be quite sweet and like spiced.
Spicy and
Yeah, like flavored.
So as is, I think, fitting for the gentleman of the podcast, where were we when news broke that the Queen
fuck.
had passed?
Wait, we know. We actually know.
Yeah,
No,
I
wait.
know.
We know because we made such a remark on it. We all, not just myself, to be very clear, I wasn't a creeper sitting alone when I heard about this. We were coming back from a very long and arduous shoot out of town, and we wanted to stop for something to eat on the way home. So we stopped, of course, at Hooters at 11 a.m. They had literally just opened their doors. We were, other than like a couple of old perverts, we were the only people.
I think we
there.
were even there before they started serving booze. I think we were there at like 10:30 something.
Yeah, like I think they had opened at 10:30.
Like I think they served us slightly
wow.
early. Like I think they did.
I
I think
think
we
so, too.
yeah, I think like a couple like not like it's like 5 minutes or whatever, but I think technically they served us early.
I remember being there and being shocked that they were even fucking open.
They don't have a breakfast menu, do they?
No.
Yeah, no.
and
We went and got fucking hot wings at
10 in the morning.
10,
I
11
was
in the
drinking a
morning.
double screwdriver. And then I think I the one who first saw it, or maybe Fran?
We all saw it around the same time. We're all looking at our phones. It was like, oh shit. And then you were like, the Queen died.
I was in Hooters when the Queen died,
Well, the news broke.
when the news broke.
We were probably in a musty basement when she actually died, but
Yes, we were in a musty basement when she died. Fran was sitting upright in a bed, fully clothed for 6 or 8 hours.
6 or 8 hours.
Staring directly at the wall.
It was a wet.
It was an oddly.
Damp. I won't say wet. It was damp.
It was a wet,
It was a
hot
lot.
summer.
It was a lot more damp than you want a
When you're
sleeping
sleeping,
a
yeah.
sleeping place to be.
And we've done lots as a group. We've slept on concrete floors next to furnaces in dank basements.
On yoga mats. As
They
our
tried
only-
to put us up in a hotel room in and we ended up just putting our equipment in the room because it wasn't of
That is
high
one of
enough quality, and then we got different
best
hotel
fucking
rooms. So
things.
We all were like, oh, it was a long drive, and we're like, had a good like first part of shooting.
Yeah,
So
like
we're
an 8-hour drive or something. It was like a long drive.
yeah, long drive. We get there, we do a little bit of shooting, and that went well. And then we get there, and it's like, we get to the hotel, and it's like, oh, it's so nice that they're putting us up here. And then we get in the room, we open the door, and we're all just like, nope.
I think it was slightly worse than the rooms in Vancouver when we saw Metallica.
Oh, slightly worse.
That room was also bad.
The thing is, it was bad because it was expensive and small. This was
but-
like unlivable.
Yeah, and you got to think it's like there was
This
at
room's-
least in Vancouver, it was like there was 2 double beds. There was spaces between the beds. There was a spot where I had my little cot.
There was
Like,
a bathroom that was usable.
Like the other one was like double bed, other double bed. The like not this because think about a hotel room. Usually it's 2 double beds facing the same way, and there's a little bit of space between the double beds. This one was double bed. There's not enough space to have the other double bed in the same way, so they had to Tetris the one double bed so that it's facing like in like an L formation. And then they were I'm 100% sure they were touching it like a corner. Like I'm fairly certain they were like touching each other. So very difficult to maneuver around in the first place. No space for a cot or anything, and I'm not fucking sleeping in a bed with one of these 2. And then there's a fucking bathroom, but when I say it was an airplane bathroom, it was an airplane fucking
I could barely physically fit in the bathroom.
So,
And in addition to all that, the room smelled as if they literally paid someone to sit and smoke in it. Like,
oh
they
yeah,
had
and
someone-
there was stains on the bed and shit and like
but like the one for me was like it literally smelled as if it wasn't just guests that were smoking there. It was like, oh, the room's free. Joe, get up there. We're not paying you to smoke outside, buddy.
it was fucking rank. Anyway, so
We dropped
ended
our
up-
equipment off.
we didn't want to offend anybody, so then Brad got rooms for us at like a Best Western or something like that, and then we just kept our equipment in the close room. I didn't tell anybody.
And then we showed up early and we like, oh yeah, it was such a good sleep in that room.
yeah, God, that room was such a good sleep.
We're coming out because we went and got breakfast early.
Yeah, I think we made
But-
sure that we were up super early because like there was somebody else staying in the same motel, so they
Below
couldn't.
us,
We didn't
yeah.
want them to see us like whatever.
For context, we're not hoity-toity. The room was bad. I one time drove a swather from Frontier to Colville, Saskatchewan, only to stay at the Kindersley Regional Park. And then when I got there, I was supposed to stay in a trailer. I went into the bathroom, and the whole bathroom was covered in blood, including the shower. And there was a banana knife with women's panties wrapped around it, soaked in blood. Anyway, so I was so tired, I just took the shower head and rinsed the blood off the walls, and then had a shower, and then went and laid down. And of course, I'm showering and getting ready for bed at 11 o'clock in the morning because I've been working a night shift. So I just walked in. I was like dead. And I was like, oh, there's blood everywhere. And then I look down, there's this banana knife that's all worn out, and it's just covered in blood. And there's women like really small, like panties wrapped around the blade of the knife. I was like, okay. And then I go to the bathroom. The bathroom fucking stall is just covered in blood. So I just took the shower and as much blood as I can wash.
I love the idea that it's like this is a crime scene and you're just like all the evidence is
So I called the number on the door. It's like, if there's anything wrong, like if there's the toilet paper or the paper towel's not quite up to your standard or anything like that, like please don't hesitate to call this number. I was like, yeah, there's blood and underwear all over the fucking place and somebody died in here. They're like, oh God. I'm like, yeah, okay, I gotta go to bed. Bye. So we're not hoity-toity. The place was shit.
No, I would say
Objectively.
like I'm still like I'll sleep anywhere if I have a pillow and a blanket. Like I'll sleep on a concrete floor. It doesn't really fucking bother me. Like I if that's the reality of the situation, like that's what I'll do. I mean smell is a big one though. That does suck. Like it could be a really nice hotel room and if it smelled
If it reeks of
bad,
cigarettes
yeah,
or
then it's
something.
like so that one's that's kind of a fucking no-go for me.
But somebody who wouldn't sleep in those kind of conditions, the former monarch, Queen Elizabeth, here's to you. I know Francois is at least interested in the royal family from watching that television program.
Extremely. I am extremely interested in the history of the British monarchy. It is. I've said this to many because like as they kind of they sort of hinted at the beginning. There's people who are like staunch monarchists, and then there are people who are anti-monarchy, and that's fine and great. You can be either, and there's not. In my opinion, there's not really a great defense for why. There's a few defenses for why the modern monarchy could be a thing that could be kept in place, and there's a couple of good arguments. I don't think there's a ton. There's one major one that's a pretty good argument. But anyways, wherever you fall, you can probably figure out some defense or whatever. But for me, largely, I'm not pro or against or whatever. It's like I'm kind of agnostic as far as that goes. But historically, I'll say this: like, no one can deny that this family had such an effect on world history for like 200 years, and it's just like it's fascinating to read about them and how, like, where their little fingers were in the pie, what happened, how they like affected geopolitics and stuff. Like it's undeniably a fascinating family and story.
It's really interesting because yes, they were subdued into being figureheads of state, but really they still wielded and to this day do in their own political influence. Quite a lot of power.
It's influence versus power, though.
Yeah,
I would say.
big time. Absolutely.
They have lots of influence, whereas historically they had power.
Yeah, I would say that the Queen still hold, like, even just like purely based on financially, the Queen holds a significant amount of power. Not like country fucking defining power, but she is a powerful person, or she was, sorry, a powerful person just in terms of her personal finances and just like and then including the influence in with that. But yes, the rest of the royal family, if you're not the Queen, or you're
king.
not in the,
Now king.
or like directly in like the immediate line of succession,
God save the king.
you have next to no financial power at all. You have no financial power at all, which is shitty. But some in the more direct family have a lot of influential power. But that's kind of the only power that they really wield. Yeah, like if you look at the power, like how the structure of the monarchy is built, it's like it's really like whoever is the monarch has control of all of the finances, and then it's up to them to decide how those finances are allocated to their family. And then, it's basically like, at least when Queen Elizabeth II was running things, it was like, you got to find a job, you got to find something for yourself to do, and then we're going to have auditors that are going to check to see if you're doing shit, and if you're not doing stuff, you're completely cut off from any sort of government money that we're getting. She was actually very, at least in the 21st century, she was very fiscally responsible as far as it came to how she was allocating the tax money that she was getting. A famous example of like you'd think that'd be somebody who'd have a lot of power is Prince Andrew was in the news recently for raping young girls with Jeffrey Epstein, and like he's been caught on film. And,
Jeff never did fuck all these people. Jesus,
didn't kill himself, I'll tell you that much. But like, so Prince Andrew is very embroiled in that whole scandal right now, and he's been like excommunicated from the royal family and stuff. But anyway, so you would have thought that he would have been a person. He's a great example of like he is the son of the Queen, and he had he had no money. He was fucking dirt poor because like he wouldn't. He basically refused to do any of his royal duties. And then the reason they think he got in with Epstein in the first place was because Epstein was like a multi-millionaire billionaire. So then that allowed him Prince Andrew financial freedom away from the royal family. And that's part of the reason
you should
that
really, like, if you're totally self-interested and you belong in the royal family, you should be able to whore yourself out based entirely on title and prestige.
The thing is, they really don't like it.
No,
like they know,
they
like
hate it.
Actually Prince Andrew is a good example of that. He's somebody who tried to just use his title as a money-making scheme, but then the royal family media is like they threaten you. They're like, we will excommunicate you, and then but once you're excommunicated and you can't get into the dinner parties anymore, everybody loses interest in you very quickly. It doesn't matter what and they'll strip you of your title. Prince Andrew was stripped of his title. Like that's the problem. They'll take away your title. You won't be invited to any of the events. And if you can't get your friends into events,
you don't have the access,
and you don't have the title, then maybe for a year you can say I'm the Queen's son. But after that, I've got tons of examples of this.
Diana pulled that shit too.
I was gonna say, Diana got into that.
Diana was an interesting example. I can talk about any of this. Like that's the thing. The Crown is a show on Netflix, which is a dramatization of the last 100 years, like basically all of Queen Elizabeth's reign. They just released the fifth season. Huge fucking fan of that show. Probably in top 5 television shows of all time for me. And anyways, what ends up happening is I'll always go on these binges where it's like when they release a new season, I'll watch the whole series again, and then I'll just watch every fucking documentary and every like monarchy thing and like get super embroiled in it again. I'll have like a month period where all that shit is super fresh in my mind. Yeah, I just find it fucking so fascinating.
Can't say I've ever watched an episode, and it's not that I'm disinterested. It's just
You're just not a monarchist.
no, I could take it or leave it. Don't really get the appeal.
The pageantry of it all and
The history. If you're a fucking
if you're a
scholar of history,
the history is interesting for sure. I like that part of it.
especially like you get into World War II and how
as a fellow monarch, I think that's where my interest is peaked.
you being a king yourself.
Yes.
Yes, being a king of a much smaller.
I would
That's-
imagine that.
Well, you're a king and a prince.
Yes.
A king of one region, a prince of another.
Lord.
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 I am also a lord.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm
of
also
course.
of the monarchy. Would you rather have to marry and divorce a new person every 6 months, no prenups,
Can't be done for me.
or maintain 5 different families while keeping them all secret from one another?
Number 2 is too easy.
So wait, what was it? You had a divorce.
Those are 2 good cards. They weren't together.
No.
You had a divorce every 6 months
Marry and divorce a different person every 6 months,
with
no prenup.
easy now. I don't have any money.
Or you have to maintain 5 different families while keeping them all secret from one another.
Probably the first one. Like as long as I stay financially destitute, like this doesn't matter to me.
I mean, you would quickly become financially destitute.
I am. You can't be more like I'm
No.
destitute. That you can't take nothing. You can't divide
I
nothing
think
in half.
Even if you like
No.
had
That's
money.
an opportunity to score.
Yeah, I get to fuck a
keep
bunch
getting
of.
them.
Yeah, I get their
half
cat.
of
That's the
theirs.
thing. I'm the one who keeps. That's
This is
the
a
thing.
wealth acquisition process.
Yeah, but the thing is, like after the first one, how do I get? I'd have to find someone I trust, give them the money so that I don't own it technically,
No,
and
no,
then
no,
keep
no,
marrying
no.
and keep divorcing and
You just keep using new forms of wealth to keep going up social ladders, and then
marrying
you keep getting
richer and richer people.
and richer. So you're not getting half every time because it's your net worth. Half of their net worth minus your net worth is what you're going to end up getting.
right.
Slash, you just say,
But you're still getting like 10, 15, 20%.
So I just got to make
Plus you
sure
could
that
just- you just-
I
you
just
keep
have to be
marrying-
climbing the social ladder.
Just keep marrying a person. You say, hey, I'll divorce you, and we don't have to go to court if you give me a payout of X amount too. And they can just pay you a flat, no alimony, nothing, and then they give you a flat fee.
No, work on it. Work them over.
I do got to make sure the whole thing though is like in this scheme.
You got another one in 6
I have
months?
to be marrying someone who's financially
Better off than you
way
every
better
time.
off than me. And they got to be a little bit better off than I was. Yeah. It's like,
Or once you get to a position you're comfortable with, you could just keep marrying and divorcing someone in your same social class, and then it's a wash every time.
oh, yeah, fair play.
I feel like
Yeah, this is a wealth acquisition ladder. I like this.
I
This
feel
is
like the
good.
5
It'd
families
be
thing
really
is
tough
better.
to find people to marry me when I'm like
A ser-
on my deathbed, and like that
Yeah,
thing is like it's
just
either,
whip out the dick.
It's easy. I guess if I can accumulate enough wealth by the time I'm like in my 60s, then I can just keep convincing women to marry me. But that's a problem though. It's like I
they
have
keep
to.
getting half, now you're dwindling.
Yeah, it's like how do
bites
I?
out of it.
There's gonna be a point in my life where it's like I can't keep.
Yeah, but
doing
you
this
get
anymore.
you get like 10, 15 years with Bilzerian on his yacht. You build up enough of
I
a
guess-
name.
Yeah, I guess fair enough. If like let's say I become like I get in the hundreds of millions of dollars by the time I'm in my 60s,
Or just become a serial murderer.
well,
Divorce them and then murder them so they can't take your money.
I don't think that's in the spirit of the question.
The question.
It's a loophole. But
But
you still have
like,
to be.
well, no loophole.
like- it's
That's
like
the whole
be-
thing with a loophole. It's not the spirit of the question.
It's not like becoming a murderer is a desirable thing. It's not like it's a good loophole.
I've heard you talk about being capable of killing lots.
But-
I've heard
in jest.
I've heard you in very private conversations
No.
divulge very private.
but
no.
at the end of my life, if I have enough
ridiculous.
money, then I could keep getting married because it's like I only have so much time left on the clock. So then I can keep dividing that number by 2. Like let's say I lose half my shit. If I'm rich enough, it doesn't fucking matter. If I die with $100,000 in my, it's like that's great. I'm fucking 85. What do I need $100,000?
Also, I love the idea.
So I gotta reach that.
We're using these playing cards, and then I, out of nowhere, just start divulging information that Andrew secretly desires to be a killer, all based on this card.
It's not accurate.
Yes, it is.
You're a fucking charlatan and a pervert.
No.
Self-admitted pervert.
I am a self-admitted pervert.
And a charlatan, and you mostly just lie.
No, I don't mostly lie.
Sorry.
I
Grossly
routinely
exaggerate.
lie and
Routinely exaggerate. I would say almost exclusively grossly exaggerate.
One day this is going to be like The Social Network. You two will be in a room together and be like, he's a liar. No, he's a liar.
No, I'm willing to accept my fate.
I'm a liar, and he's a liar as well.
We're both liars.
It's like, oh shit, he admitted to being
I'm
a liar.
worse
He
of a
must be
liar.
the more honest one.
The honest liar.
But first, yeah, it's like the riddle of King Solomon. Cut the baby in two.
For my own response, the hiding the families. What a treat. What a social exercise. Something I've been really working
How
at.
How distant would you go with them? Like, would you?
How many families is it again? 5?
5.
It's a lot of families.
And there's no special. Like, it could just be a wife. That's a family too. 2 people make a family. You know.
And Peter does it with gay men and women.
Yeah.
In his fantasy.
I couldn't do it. Unless I decided to like adopt like a sociopathic attitude where it's like I don't actually care about any of these people.
Yeah, it's too easy for
But
me.
it's like, but for me, it's like I'm going into that one with the assumption that I have my current emotional faculties. So it's like I'm gonna care about these people, and it's like I can't. I couldn't.
Oh,
look
and
at
that's the
all
worst
these
part.
people
Just
laugh-
sitting there.
look-
5 different women looking them in the eyes, telling them, "Oh, I love you so much." just like in my brain, complete concrete. Not even thinking about them. It's all part of a game.
I can't wait till this turns into a Social Network thing. And then I just have all this video evidence of fucking sociopathy.
This won't hold up in court.
You and your current.
It's you talking to a camera. I mean, yeah, you're right. It's like they'd be like, "Oh, he was just being funny," but it's like,
comedy
but
podcast.
once you show it to once you show it to a jury, it's up to them to decide whether or not they think you're joking.
8 hours before the court date, Ranzo goes through every podcast and cuts the little warning out of the beginning.
No, I do. I don't do it 8 months before. After we film the
8 hours
podcast, I
before.
get all the potential evidence. I have several folders and several holding places. It's all there, baby.
In the event
of
of
my
my
death.
death.
Francois on his deathbed, he just like into his phone, execute order Omega.
And I love the idea. It's like you're taking high quality video content, offloading it onto a computer, putting it on a CD, and then using a CD to DV converter to put it onto those like microfiche cassettes.
Yeah.
And then putting those cassettes in.
I
You're going way above and beyond.
have offshore accounts with like safety deposit boxes in like several countries.
and like you could
It's
have
all physical
And
media.
I refuse. I have to go there physically.
and like you could have solid state drives that won't degrade.
Yeah, no.
But you decide to put them onto DV cassettes that are constantly degrading
that I have to,
over time.
I have to spend so much money trying to keep them
And time.
pristine.
Yeah. Here's another good one here. You and your current physical condition are now a starting NFL running back.
Wow.
Or
What?
like you have to be
You would just get fired after day one. What?
No, like the idea is like you're the only hope we got, kid. Like you have to try to be a running back given your current state and you would play half a game and be destroyed in one play. You would just you're ruined physically. Or
So what is the thing? Is you'll be killed potentially? Is
basically, like you're gonna get fucking annihilated
Yeah, good luck.
on TV,
I away all
Or-
the fucking linemen.
or you have to post a free hand jobs listing on Craigslist and oblige whoever responds.
I got my glove. I don't know which one to pick. Because I could absolutely
I'll
go.
get fucking hit.
I would absolutely go and just toast up the NFL
literally-
or use my jack off glove.
Toast off the NFL. Yeah, I would just get fucking obliterated and say,
I
if I'm
get- I would-
dead, I'm dead. If I'm whatever, man.
I mean, either way, you're getting obliterated, I guess, in a different sense.
I just don't want to fucking like. Wait, so is it just one guy you got to give a hand job to?
Anyone, like you got to post the
Oh,
ad
yeah,
for
see.
a
Like,
week,
I need a
let's
week.
say.
I need a week to learn the fucking
The
plays.
one's super temporary and the other one's fucked.
I need a week to learn the plays, and then we're rolling, baby. Then we're rolling, Deion Sanders, baby. Oh, Jackson, baby.
What was the name of the refrigerator man?
Refrigerator Perry.
Yeah, I would like to see you and him
Oh,
collide.
oh.
Yeah, I'll take
Then we're
I'll
rolling.
take the running back thing. I'll get destroyed, but
Then we're rolling, baby. Oh, let's get it.
I'm also less of a running back and more of just kind of a back. But
That's the thing. You don't have to. If they're making you play, you don't have to run hard. Just grab the fucking ball and then just be there. Or
Yeah,
just keep taking
do
a
I
knee.
do I have time to train? Because I could
No,
I
it
could.
says specifically you in your current physical state.
I was gonna say because if I had a year or two, you could get me into some sprinting shape, baby.
The problem is you're just too small.
NFL is like another level of athleticism.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, you could get me running quick. And it's like, because my only goal is to avoid getting smushed. So I'm sure there's ways to do, like, to.
The problem is the faster
mitigate.
you're running, the worse you're going to get hit.
No, I know. But there's probably ways to mitigate. The faster you are,
run out of bounds
There's
every
always
time.
an outside
Yeah.
pass and you just lose
True.
10 yards.
True. I just gotta make a little bit of ground. So as long as I'm getting a little
you're
bit.
losing yards every game. You're like, I don't quick call run plays, asshole. I'm
Run
taking the
backwards.
small back.
Like fucking
Take it to the
like
house.
fucking rugby, throw backwards.
Huh? Take it to the house.
Yeah, the running back. I'm not.
I'm jacking. I'm jacking. Fuck it.
No
I
fucking,
could kill the NFL, but I'm jacking.
You're gonna put your fucking jerk off gloves on and just
Personal,
like
out of a personal interest
do, you
stake.
do one at a time, or you two at a time?
Roll them. That's the thing. How many people are going to honestly reply? If I can roll 2 at a time, I can get through the 4-6 guys a day.
I think
fast.
the ad. You got to post the ad as if you want to get as many guys. as
Yeah, of
possible.
course. The ad can be, but how many guys are really? I'm in Saskatoon. How many guys are really going to respond?
Their forearms are gonna be powerful by the end of that.
I don't know. I think more than you'd think.
But I mean, if I'm running 2 at a time, how many guys? And the group's going to run out. And we're not talking. Guys can't come more than 1 a day.
Are
That's
you not allowed to use your mouth?
Free hand jobs. They got to pay for the suck job.
But I can.
It's like an upgrade.
Brad can use his mouth. or
Yeah,
his
it's an
feet.
upgrade. It's part of. It's a package upgrade. Like it's an upgrade. Like for.
Just fully fucking all extremities, all holes, maximum use.
What is it in Silicon Valley? They calculate the time to how long would it take him to jerk off every guy in the room?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And they come up with like a whole formula for like based on like
angle of dick,
and like how to like
yeah,
most
no, it's
efficiently
like
do
two
it.
dicks like this way.
He's
Yeah,
like,
it's two guys facing each other with dicks that way, so that you can jerk off.
at first, no, he's like, but would they have to be similar girths? And he's like,
Yeah.
like he's like, and he goes like this. He's like, yeah, that would slow me down if I couldn't just.
I feel him, baby. Andrew, who's your favorite monarch? Kevin Spacey?
Your fictional
Pervert?
count?
Whatever the one that died was
The Queen?
Elizabeth
Most monarchs have died.
the second.
Oh,
You like Queenie?
Sure, her.
there's no monarchs.
Why
in
do you
history
want to
think
do
of?
away with the Queen?
I just think it's frivolous and unnecessary. I don't think it provides a tremendous amount of value, least of all the Canadians.
It's the only thing we have left dividing us from the United States.
I think that's a
What?
sad state of affairs, and we need to.
What?
We
That's
need
not
to
the only thing dividing us.
It's the only thing that separates us. And,
culturally. You're saying.
Our government is different.
yeah, because we will have to adopt a republic if we don't have the
Yeah,
institutional.
but I mean, it's like the institutionally the way our government works is different. Like,
Yeah, but we can't have a Westminster
You can totally get rid of the monarchy and keep our current form of government.
You can't have a Westminster parliamentary.
Like the monarchy has no fucking.
Well, then we have to have a republic.
Our system of government.
You
Yeah,
still have a
I'm saying it's
parliamentary
like.
government without a monarchy.
Like,
You can't have a Westminster
Just saying you
parliamentary
have a
government.
republic doesn't mean that your government works the exact same fucking way, and
See,
it doesn't mean you have the same.
Nothing separates us from the Americans except for the Queen and Vico.
you saying that
I
doesn't
think
make
you have
it
a simple
true.
understanding of government.
No, I have a very complex
I'm just saying,
understanding.
because like
of
the
the
Canadian
Republic.
government is like extremely different from the American
But
government.
it is
And,
based.
like beyond
it
just
is a
like
constitutional
the fact that
Westminster
we have
parliamentary
a
system.
fucking head of state or whatever. It's like get rid of the head of state. It doesn't matter. Like you could
Without the
easily.
Governor
I mean,
General,
keep-
we lose a lot of checks and balances. It
What
really
checks and balances?
It really doesn't convert as easily as
Be specific and show your work here. Because like right now you're being quite vague, and I suspect that it's not as concrete as you're suggesting. So
You could literally like they could do a referendum right now in Canada where it's like, hey, everything will say the exact same except we're just gonna not have.
Although the
and not
Governor
have
General, the
British
Queen's
government-
representative to the federal government, only holds at most a figurehead role. They
Symbolic.
are technically a check and balance against a majority government, which can theoretically never be ousted without that. So you could have a tyrannical Westminster parliamentary government with no way to legally oust them except for the governor general, who has to approve the election of the government and can cease control of the government from that party. It's theoretically possible.
So your
Pierre Trudeau, just watch me.
Your fear.
Just watch me.
Your fear is that if we strip the monarchy,
then we need to switch
the
shift
head
to a
of our
republic.
state. No. Listen.
Yeah.
Your fear is this thing that is in name service only to our country and has not had a practical. Listen. Let me finish. Has had no practical role in our governing.
That is incorrect.
Listen to me, you fuck. As for all intents and purposes, have been a symbolic figurehead of our country for the last at least 60, 70, going on like 70 years now. No, I'll say 40 years. I'll say there was maybe a little more of a role back in like the 70s, 80s. No, 70s. For all intents and purposes, has been a symbolic figurehead. If we have held a referendum tomorrow that was like, hey, our government's going to stay, the style of our government is going to stay the exact same. Voting's going to stay the same. All of that shit going to be the exact same. Except for the fact that we're going to strip the British government from having any sort of say in our deal, or any sort. It's not, they don't even have a say. Literally just like pieces of paper, like the heading on pieces of paper will be redacted. And then it'll just be like the government of Canada, whatever, rather than it's like the royal, blah, 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 blah. It's like, we're going to redact that shit. Your fear is that a tyrannical dictator, basically, an oligarch will cease control of the Canadian government, and because legally,
the governor general has acted as in true power as recently as the Harper government.
So, fair. So let's just governor general stays. You have nothing to do with monarchy anymore.
But then you just have a person who's wielding absolute power with no.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we have right now. Except the fact that it's tied to the monarchy. So just untied from the monarchy.
On same function, same position,
thing.
just not tied to the monarchy.
Like, do you think the Queen says, hey, don't you be tyrannical? Like, no. That's nothing like that has ever happened. It's like, these are all figurehead roles. It's like, if ever there was somebody who's like, I am taking power, you would have fucking mass revolt. You can't do that in Canada. Like, it would never happen.
That's what they
said.
No
police force and no military would be like, yeah, fire on our own people because they don't want a dictator.
That's what post-Tsarist Russia said. We're never going to have that again.
In that sense, it's like the same thing could happen in the United States of America. Well, I mean, the thing is, like, your whole premise here is based on legality. Like, that's your entire crux of your argument, because it's like, in the United States,
someone's going to go in there and be like, you can't get me out of here. It's legal. I'm legal doing. I legally have control.
But that's what Supreme Courts defend, that sort of thing.
Well, I know, but it's like, in your head, like, oligarchs and dictators are stopped by legality. It's like Donald Trump. It's like he wanted to overturn the election in the United States. It's like, no, but it's not legal. It's like, oh, right, you're right. Shit, I'm gonna stop trying to overturn the. It's like, he didn't stop trying to turn. He said it was a fucking false.
Yeah, but I mean, until the end. What's gonna happen legally? He's gonna be probably end up indicted for some sort of crime. That's
not for the election.
Not related to that. No,
not for the election thing anymore. Like, that won't go anywhere. But he will get indicted in a crime just with no relation to the election fraud. But it's like, in the United States, there's nothing that says you can't just keep saying all the votes are fake. You can just keep saying that, even if there's no evidence to suggest that that's the case.
But the Supreme Court can step in the electoral process.
Absolutely, but if you have a figurehead that has more than 50% of the support in the United States, even if legally he's not voted, or sorry, if he has 45% of popular support, even if he's not voted in by a majority, he can just rally his fucking troops and then take control. Like, it's like, nothing's gonna stop a populist oligarch or oligarchy or dictator from taking control if they want to take control. It's like, I don't think the thing, legality is not what's stopping insane people from taking control.
Have you seen The Handmaid's Tale?
Yes.
In Brad's scenario here, it's like this group of like theocratic radicals want to take over, and like, how do we do this? And it's like, fuck, there's not a legal way we can do it. Shit, we can't.
It's like, that's the problem. Is like, it's like the whole like legal, like guns are illegal or whatever, and it's like, but the people who are going to use guns for illicit things
will find an illegal
way to do it. And not to say I'm not trying to draw direct. It's not a great.
I guess
great,
what I'm arguing. What I'm arguing is that I'm not necessarily talking about somebody overthrowing power. I'm talking about a government with institutionalized apathy retaining control of a government body, and then it just keeps snowballing slowly over 10 years, 15 years. Look how long the Chrétien and Paul Martin Liberals were in power, and slowly tightening the noose on those sorts of things. Pierre Trudeau, just watch me.
So the thing is, like, what is the difference
Is that
between the Queen doing it and like going 3 steps down the rung and then somebody else doing it? It's like you still have like a figurehead. Like there's no difference. You're just decreasing the amount of steps.
I guess my argument is, if I had to make one, is that my hope would be that because we have an international, an otherwise outside governed committee controlling this figurehead person, that there is a better chance that they don't have the innate self-interests that an elected or empowered local governor general would have in just partnering with the federal government for their own personal gain. So it's like the Queen doesn't have personal gain from the Liberal or Conservative Party over a period of time. Just,
I mean, it's really interesting what you're saying, because like you are. It's weird because like you're appealing to the modern reality of the monarchy, especially when you said the thing about no personal gain. It's like all these institutions were implemented when there was direct personal gain of the Queen and all the colonies.
Oh, sure.
It's like, so I'm just saying, it's like it's weird. It's weird, like.
To retroactively justify
it's like your
a position that
justification is
was-
like this. It's this new reality.
what I'm saying is not that it is not possible, but our current style of government is not technically as safe as the Republic is, because the checks and balances exist through the Governor General. That's how those things function. So,
the way I said, it's like you can keep a Governor General,
but how
figure.
do you elect a Governor General? How do you that person
Democratically.
theoretically wields unbelievable amounts of power.
Well,
so now you're taking a figurehead
it's not
position.
theoretically, they do kind of like it's just like so much of the fucking Canadian governmental system, and actually American system to a degree as well. Well, ours more. Like so much of it is pomp and circumstance. It feels like there's so many things that are like our titles, and like you're there to say a thing at the beginning of the fucking proceedings, and it's like,
but those
do
things
you really do
are
anything?
all
No, I don't not like it.
hard-coded functions of government.
Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that it's like you sound kind of like somebody who's arguing that the Queen could declare war on
No, I'm not.
Africa. But sorry, I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying what you're saying sounds like somebody who'd be like, it's like, yes, technically these people could do this, but no, in practicality it would never fucking happen, because if the Queen ever tried to declare war on fucking Sudan, all of Britain would revolt and it'd be like, no, sorry, you're not Queen anymore, Queenie. And it's like the same thing with the Governor General. If the Governor General ever tried to be like, we need to get rid of all kids under the age of 4, it's like, sorry, no, we're not doing that.
I'm not talking about the
Governor Generalship.
I'm not talking about the Governor General wielding power to do things. I'm talking about them ceasing their ability to safeguard the government
as a check and balance.
I'm not saying they're going to.
And then whatever the presiding party is doing some crazy shit.
I mean, you're talking. Governor General side says I'm never calling a stop to government again. The Conservative Party is in power theoretically indefinitely with a majority government, as long as everybody technically by code of law shows up and you never vote a non-confidence against the ruling party, then they can technically do everything you want. And then you go like, well, the government decides that everybody aged of 4 should die. And then you go to the police and you're like, the government's saying this. And then now you're just assuming everybody's going to stand up and protect the freedoms of people and not listen to the government. I don't know. There's a lot of peons in the military and the police force. And now you're saying you're going to go against
that specific example, no, that could never happen in reality. But like, there are less extreme versions that like,
the government under Pierre Trudeau instituted martial law, whatever justification they gave, they brought the military into the streets.
Okay, but to be clear, he instituted martial law that had a stop time. Like there was like this, and it like it was. It wasn't just, hey, I'm instituting martial law. There's no end in sight.
Listen,
I'm going to take control forever. It was, for this amount of time, we're going to institute martial law. By this time, we should see this result. If we don't see this result, then it will be extended by this. There was all these checks and balances that they self-implemented. It wasn't like the Canadian people were like, we're totally fine with you taking executive power, and that's totally fine. That is not what happened.
Listen, I understand that's not what happened, but Hitler also didn't jump on a podium the first day and say, let's fucking execute
once
everybody.
Again, Hitler's a perfect example of the antithesis because he illegally took power, or maybe by the letter of the law, he legally took power.
What I'm saying is the example is, yes, in the instance of Pierre
but that's
Trudeau,
a great example of like
Pierre Trudeau,
a megalomaniac will just take power and they'll figure out how to do it. It doesn't matter.
No. But the point I'm trying to make is that, yes, he's not going to go ahead and institute martial law indefinitely or whatever. But these are slippery slopes to allowing more and more things to happen. And
Things
that was the
erode
concern
over
in the
time,
80s. It's
not-
like, okay, make everybody a little bit more comfortable with martial law. Now it's a little bit longer. Now we're instituting. It's not all at once. Everybody locked up and I've got full control forever. Nobody would ever introduce that because that incites revolt. What you need is erosion and creating these elements where these small steps. And this is what the radicals were concerned about during COVID. Hold on, let me talk.
Yeah.
This is what the radicals were concerned about during COVID. It's like, and yes, it was ridiculous. It was human. We all agree on the same point, whatever, with the COVID vaccine and all that.
The mandates
and stuff like that. But the thing that gave their argument, I guess, credence and what swelled their numbers was people thinking about, in these instances, historically, what has happened is they institute martial law or they do a quarantine and they make sure everybody starts getting comfortable with it. And that's, where conspiracy theorists get all their power from. So that's the issue. Whereas, Canada doesn't have things like 4-year term or 2 4-year terms on leaders. They can theoretically lead indefinitely. And that's why the constitutional monarchy, the Westminster parliamentary style of government that we have, does not really work without those checks and balances. So I'm not saying that yes, that type of government, if tweaked, could operate without the monarchy in place. But the government as we have it right now in the code of law can't operate without the Queen. So we would have to rewrite the style of government we have. We'd have to get a new constitution, those sorts of things, to make sure that those checks and balances are matched by some or other sort of check and balance.
I don't disagree with anything you just said. But my point was only like you could adjusting the constitution would be so slight that it's like it would
take a lot of time.
Listen, well, yeah, it would take time. I'm just saying the actual practical differences between how our government works right now and how it would work post getting rid of the Queen would be
negligible,
so negligible. And the point
I think that's
listen. What you had said initially, how this all started, was you said there would be no difference between the Canadian government and the U.S. government. And it's like
there would be very little.
Patently false.
We would have to move much closer to a Republican style. A republic style of government than the parliamentary style.
That's where I'm just totally in disagreement. I think there'd be
there are very few, if any, parliamentary styles of government.
Because your point right now is because there's some overseas theoretical oversight the crux of your argument is there's some overseas oversight theoretically that is stopping a potential oligarchical takeover of the Canadian government
through legal means.
And it's 100%. When I say overseas, I'm not saying that. But I mean, literally on the island in the UK, for some reason, this small governing body has so much influence over the behavior of the Governor General in our country that it is stopping an oligarchical government from potentially taking.
It is the check and balance that does it. There is no other means to stop it legally. There is no other means to stop it legally. There is no other check and balance.
If I saw, on its face, it sounds so.
But there is no other check and balance in place. No such check and balance exists.
But what I'm saying is I think for my read, I think you're really over exaggerating the influence.
No, I'm not saying they have influence. I'm saying a check and balance isn't about influence. A check and balance is push comes to shove and things get really bad. There's a system in place to stop it, even though it's gone way too far and it looks like there's no end in sight. There's a check and balance in place.
And so you don't think that check in place could be
and it absolutely could be, but not under a Westminster parliamentary style of government, because that style of government uses the check and balance of a governor general to ensure that those sorts of things don't happen.
Yeah, but I'm saying just take it. All the people that you need, it's we have these people that are doing these checks and balances. Literally, just find someone in Canada to do the same thing.
I just think that. Number one, that'll never happen. You're not going to move a Westminster.
Well, none of this is ever going to happen. The monarchy.
The monarchy ending could absolutely happen. We're not going to adapt the same style of government.
I think the monarchy ending will happen, and that'll be the big tell. I mean, the monarchy will eventually end. It's not like it is not continuing.
And
into
we will have to
perpetuity.
recodify
But,
the government.
Yeah, that's the big tell is like, from my read, it's like there will be very little in terms of like our day to day.
There
or
are
like even our like all of our members of parliament, they will see very very little change in how they do anything.
Oh,
to
I'm
their
not saying
daily-
there's an operational difference. I'm not saying that, and I never said that the governor.
I'm talking about structure. Basic, it will all
operationally
in essence.
exactly the same. But you cannot operate.
So do you think operationally we are the same as the United States government?
No, I'm not saying we're operationally the same as the United States government.
So then I don't understand how you're saying the monarchy falls. Operationally we stay the same. Structurally we stay the same. Yet now we're like the United States government. I don't understand this.
Because what separates us from the United States government is not. There are very few things. It's really the checks and balances of the republic that change us in differentiation. I'm not talking about. I don't care about like. The way that we vote or any stuff, that's not based in Westminster parliamentary government. You can have different styles of voting. It's like I think you're thinking more like how the Americans vote and elect governors, and that really has nothing to do with style of government. I'm talking about the operational style of government that we have.
We might be talking past each other, but it's like I don't know. Like I said, I just don't. We wouldn't just be the United States.
Yeah,
all of a
like
sudden.
we would have to change the House or the Senate to be very much more similar to how the United States Senate works. We couldn't have these like elected stay in the Senate forever senators that we have right now. That can't exist because the only reason we can have those types of senators is because that second house of government extends itself to the Governor General, which can cease those sorts of actions. Like right now, if you're a Canadian senator, you're just a senator forever. American senators are elected. We would have to elect senators. That would change the Senate House completely.
I don't think I just flippantly agree to that at all. Like I don't know if that's true at all. I don't know if they couldn't just stay basically the same. Like I don't know. I don't know.
Just because it changes from the government doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be this shift.
That just seems on its face that some smells super fishy.
I think you're far more familiar with the American style of government than you are with Canadian style of government.
Well, I'm also familiar with differences between the United States government and
But can you imagine a world in which the U.S. republic style of government exists, where senators are elected and then don't have to retire till they're 75 with no oversight? They never have to.
Not
leave.
in the United States, but I also like culturally our countries are completely different. Like it would never stand in the United States. Everyone in the United States hates each other. It's not the same in Canada.
It doesn't matter on a voter base. We're talking about the actual.
It does matter. That what you just
process of government itself.
But what you just brought up, that problem you just brought up with like they would never. It's like that's because they all hate each other. There is no citizen.
I'm not saying because the people need to elect it. I mean, as a function of government, that doesn't work.
No, I could see it working if the country didn't hate itself. Absolutely, I could see it working. I think the reason that we're pretty okay...
But then the Senate House is Republican forever.
No, I don't think that's necessarily
until
true.
Until they turn, what is it in Canada, 75? They would be until all these people, like...
Conservative until whatever.
Until whenever. Because you don't have to leave your Senate position in Canada. You are just the Senate, but the Senate doesn't hold the same power as it does in the United States. Those two forms of checks and balances are different. So the Senate, because the Senate is a check and balance to the governors for the House, then you would not have that shift, because in the United States, it's who controls the House, who controls the Senate. It's like in Canada, it's like senators are elected, they secondarily pass on bills. Like it's a completely different style. So that's why I'm saying, like, one of those checks and balances that when the Senate has too much control, the people can vote senators out. You can't do that in Canada. Senators are appointed, elected, and then when they're in until they retire.
Yeah, but I mean, like, going to initially, like, that's not, like, once again, the problem there is not the fact that a senator can't be voted out. It's the issue would be if you had a senator who had really extreme ideas and then stayed in perpetuity. That is a unique problem in the United States, where it's like you have people with these extreme that are on extreme sides of a political spectrum. That there's very little middle ground. That's the problem there. If you had a moderate in House for 70 years, that's fine, and that's kind of like in Canada. Everybody's a fucking moderate. You don't have very many crazies. Like crazies never like
because
get any amount of power.
Issues aren't on the docket
in Canada. That's what I'm saying. It's like I didn't just bring up cultural differences
You can't.
Because I'm saying that the reason that it sounds crazy in the United States and it doesn't sound crazy here is because the culture is so radically different.
I know, but you can't base the government based on how everybody is right now, and the assumption is based on anecdotal evidence that most people here are more moderate and people in the United States are more radical.
I'm just saying that it's like if the United States didn't seem like it was a fucking gonna light itself on fire every 4 seconds, if it seemed like a much more stable, less fucking adversarial country, what you said, I might have just been like, oh yeah, sure, why not? Like it's not ridiculous. Like if you take a country that doesn't have a monarchy, like what is another country that has like a similar structure to Canada or the United States? I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Somewhat close.
Well,
They would be
anyways,
a republic.
take a European country or whatever. It's like if you took that and then I can't think of a good example right now, so I don't want to just say countries and then whatever. But like there are countries that you could suggest something like that about, that it would just be like, yeah, why not? Like it's like they're moderates. It's like nothing crazy is going to happen. You could institute this form of government and it would be totally fine. But it's like, I'm just saying that I think the United States is a very specific example. So when you try to be like, well, look what happens if you institute the Canadian form of government in the United States, it would implode. It's like, of course it would implode.
But
they fucking hate each other. Like it couldn't work. It's like it's 100 years of history you need to account for. That it's like you just can't ignore. You can't ignore like 100 years of history and why our government works the way it was. It was implemented at a time.
Again, I'm talking about purely the focus of government. You could make all the people the Robax Platinum guy and they not say anything or do anything. I'm talking purely based on, does the government work in that style based on the code of laws? And the answer is no, you can't. Those two things don't work together.
Once again, it's like, like your arguments seem to me to be just against Canadian government, period.
No.
Because like really, it's like I said, you're suggesting this regulatory board that is across the sea that like the only reason that it's not fucking exploding is because of that. And it's like, if our entire government,
your argument is coming down to,
I don't really have a government. I don't really have a government. I'm just saying that it's like, I don't think that we would descend.
Do I think that without government general tomorrow there's some tyrannical government takes over? No. But I think as a function of
not
government.
Even that. I mean, you said
your constitution is.
We would descend. We would become the United States, and that is my contention.
No,
I'm saying
I
we
said
wouldn't
that
just
our
become.
Government would have to shift closer. To
No, you said there would be no difference between us and the United States, and that's what you said.
From political form of government, not as countries.
As a whole or culturally.
No, I'm not talking about. I mean, government-wise, what you said was we would be the same as the United States.
In order to retain the same protections that our Constitution allows us through the use of the government general to assist in the dissuasion of tyrannical governments taking over. Yes. Do I think that tomorrow the whole government would collapse because we don't have a governor general? No. But in the right circumstance arise, and the entire point foremost for the Constitution, and especially in the United States and Canada and everywhere else, and why constitutions exist and bills of rights and freedoms, is to protect against the most extreme things that can happen. How often do we bring up the Charter of Rights and Freedoms? Not very fucking often. I bet you most of the members of Parliament can't even tell you one thing that's on there. Maybe something to do with freedom of speech, which we don't even really have.
Canadians don't bring it up ever.
Yeah, so we don't even bring those things up. But the purpose of those documents is not, if we're not using them, don't worry about it. The point is, if the French Revolution happens again, and somebody does wield some sort of ridiculous amount of power, or somebody oligarchs their way in, these documents and these forms of government are meant to protect against that. So it could not affect the day-to-day. Yes, if everybody's happy and we're all kind of agreeing on things, it's like having a prenup. You never read the prenup until you need to read the prenup.
No, my only point, that's the thing, is like, once again, I don't disagree with anything you just said. Nothing I said disagrees with anything you said. I literally, the only thing I'm stating is you literally just remove the term monarchy from all those documents, and I think they would. I just absolutely, like, they would just hold. They would just be fine. Everybody would be like, yeah, this is great. It's like, whatever. Appoint this person to this role, appoint this person to this role, appoint this person to this role. Like, get like all the whatever figureheads we had over there. We'll just like have these symbolical roles here now. We'll have this regulatory committee. We'll have this fucking oversight board. They get whatever.
But it's not a board. It's one person.
Well, whatever. Like the one, well, whatever. That'll be the big difference. We're gonna have 5 people, and you know what we're gonna do? It's like the Parliament will vote them in every 10 years. We'll have a new 5, and it's like that's it. It's like now instead of a queen, we have 5. We have 5 oversight. I'm just saying, like, like I
It's
said,
not, it's not any less flawed than having it be tied to the
to
monarchy.
the queen. It's like it doesn't. To me, that is my contention. It's like it being overseas and being a person in a house doesn't magically. There's no magic there. It's the same wherever it is. You get rid of the British, any sort of link to the British. It's like the government will not fall. People will not, there'll be no oligarch taking control. It's all fine. Like that's my only contention. I don't disagree with literally anything you're saying. You keep adding this thing though where it's like the governor general's out. That's not my suggestion. I'm not saying change it in any fucking structural way. Keep it the same. Just whatever fucking guy you had, get that guy in Canada or whatever.
I
It's
mean,
like
he or she is already here.
No, I know. I'm talking about the monarchy specifically when I talk about overseas. That's my point. And like I said,
The monarchy is more intelligent than the rest of us. Oh, I'd love to shut the furnace off. They're better than the rest of us, and that's why they will protect us.
I don't disagree with
against
that
tyranny.
either.
They're all better than we are.
Let's talk about Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Let's talk
I gotta
about
go shut the
Pokemon.
furnace. It's too loud.
We got to wrap this up, anyways.
Why? We're at an hour.
We're at an hour, and I have to get going.
Well, we shall have the furnace
Would you rather pick 5 of your friends to sell into slavery? So 3 other people or become
I don't know if I can pick 3 other people.
become and remain celibate.
Can I sell 2 guys multiple times?
I can't do celibacy.
Become and remain celibate is the other option.
I mean, so sell 5 of your closest friends? Or your closest friends?
Just friends.
I got
Oh,
a
so
lot of friends.
you can choose your friends? Which
Yeah.
friends?
You can choose
Easily.
which people, yeah.
And they can escape of
Let's-
their own accord.
Let's list them right now.
I get
Who?
Man.
Yeah, if you're gonna say sell 5 friends, who are you selling into slavery?
This really depends on how far your definition of friend goes. Like, because it's like
I think your other friends would have if your other people in your social group
There
heard
has to
that
be a consensus?
you sold that person to slavery, they would be like, "Why did you sell your friend into slavery?"
yeah, there'd have to be like a consensus
Yeah,
with all your
okay,
friends
it's not just-
that they were.
okay,
your
it's
It's not
friend.
just like, "Oh, that guy
Can't
on
be
the
an-
street's my friend."
An acquaintance.
And-
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I think I want to preempt this by saying that I think that my choices forthcoming are a ringing endorsement of your ability to survive and thrive in slavery. Suede, number 1. Suede can handle it, not a problem. Easy. Kelby's a slave to his emotions already, so Kelby too. He's already been a slave his entire life.
He's a slave emotionally.
Is my brother a friend?
Yeah, you
Christopher. Christopher would make friends. He would actually probably turn it into some sort of benefit.
He would like somehow manipulate his way and become like
King of the slaves.
like king of the slaves and like be the go-between between himself and the slaves. Fran and I, there you go. You got 5.
You guys couldn't cut it.
Wow.
The flesh is weak.
The
Okay, so who are your other 2?
Weak and the mind is weak.
Could be women too. You have no women on here.
Ooh, that feels like it gets to a whole nother. I don't know why, but it's just like you sell a woman in slavery and you're like,
Yeah, that has bad
she's
connotations
for sure a
for
sex
sure.
slave. Like,
No, there are tough women out there.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying it's like I feel like with men, it's like the assumption to a degree is like it's
Physical
labor.
labor.
Yeah, they might be getting fucked. Don't get me wrong. Like, some guys are gonna get fucked, but like largely, my assumption is that they're gonna be used for like physical labor. But it's like you sell a woman to slavery, it's like
Sex slavery.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like-
Yeah.
Mitch Broughton, he's just leaving university is going to be
Mitch
hard on the poor kid. So if I could scoop you out, you'll have all those great memories.
And he's so young, he wouldn't even
You won't even remember not being a
remember
slave.
not being a slave.
But yeah, is there an end to the slavery? Like, what do you mean?
No,
No, you're not responsible
I
for
love
that.
that.
You sell them into slavery, you get your money.
Yeah,
and
their
just-
freedom is up to them now. It's up to
yeah.
your own. You gotta figure
they
it
could
out.
escape in 2 days.
Why didn't you escape?
Ryan Swenson deserves it. Put a hard day's work in at least once, you lazy fuck. So there.
Yeah, I don't think I could do. I mean, if you chop my dick and balls off, I could probably be celibate because then I wouldn't give a fuck. But do I want my dick and balls chopped off? I don't know. I don't think so.
I mean, that's for celibacy, isn't it?
Or what? Sorry.
You could chemically castrate yourself.
No, I'm saying I do it to myself. It's just like if I knew, like let's say this, like somebody went up to you and they're like, you have to be celibate. And when I say celibate, I mean like you can't jerk off, you can't fuck, no touching of the penis at all with you.
Whoa. I think celibate's just no fucking.
I can jerk off.
You can jerk off and be celibate.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Okay, that seems not.
jack off.
Just no intercourse of any kind. No other person can touch you. You can touch yourself.
That sucks. Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I guess like.
You just,
would I rather,
you just get really into having other people watch you jerk off.
Yeah, that's kind of, but
and watching other people, like you could make an existence out of that. It wouldn't be great.
No, I'm not saying that you could.
I'm just saying you could.
In my head though, is like, is the need for physical touch in that regard powerful enough for me that it's like, let's say tomorrow.
I think you can still cuddle and you can still have like hugs. You just can't.
No. I'm saying in that specific like the fucking regard.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great.
Is that when I'm trying to decide in my head? It's like, let's say you said to me that I have to be celibate. What I'm trying to decide right now is, am I cutting my dick and balls off tomorrow so I really don't care about the whole like not getting the fuck thing, or do I keep the privilege of getting to jerk off, but I just have to sit there and know that it's like you're just a little faker. You're a little fakey faker. You never get the actual pudding. You just do your little fiddling. And it's like I have to live for the rest of my life. But it's like if I cut my dick and balls off, my interest leaves.
You don't think you'd have phantom cock and would like
I don't think
have interest?
I don't think you have phantom horniness. I think horniness is directly tied to like
I don't know, man. I disagree.
Like you need your dick. Can you just leave your dick, cut your balls off?
You could, yeah, true. Balls are what create the what's the word?
I think you still have horniness if you're.
I don't think so.
It's a mental thing. It's not just a fucking.
No, well, I mean, but the mind is just a chemical processes. Like that's what it is.
But like I think you still have those. Your testicles don't
horny?
Your testicles don't produce testosterone. I
think they're directly tied to whatever the horniness.
I'll Google it.
I don't think so.
No, I think it is for sure.
Are eunuchs horny?
Well, eunuchs are also castrated before puberty.
Well, I mean, just figure out, like, I'm fairly certain if you cut your balls off, your sex drive would basically disappear.
Yeah, you need a testosterone level of 200 to 250, have an erection, or feel sexual desire.
Okay, so is that, if you cut your balls off, that doesn't happen, right?
Yeah, you won't generate enough.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, what the fuck were we reading? Oh, we were watching Game of Thrones. And there's the one eunuch character. And then I can't remember what I was reading. But anyways, yes, like if you cut your balls off, I'm pretty sure like your desire for sex just goes away.
Yeah, basically. You need the adrenal glands to produce the testosterone.
Yeah.
So if you get your nuts removed, you got to take fucking testosterone supplements to even remain horny.
Yeah. And any sort of like phantom, anything you'd have would like after 2 months of like whatever that like any sort of like I don't know.
And it's crazy. This thing's like if you fucking remove your nuts, your personality will change completely. It's like
oh yeah,
like that's crazy. My nugs are so important.
Well, it's like
I've got important nugs.
Certain mental health like antipsychotics and stuff. They affect your like how your testosterone is produced so much that some people report like losing all sex drive, and it's like it's a similar type of deal. It's not like the same as getting your nuts cut off, but it's like it affects the testosterone production. I don't know specifically, but like whatever, all the hormones that are involved in that get affected so much that you basically lose all sex drive. And lots of people who are on some types of antipsychotics will report that. So it's like I know it's all brain chemistry. It's all fucking juice in your brain that makes you do stuff.
Well, we learned today that the balls are the key to our personalities, and that the Queen knows how to make a good cocktail. Thank you guys so much for joining us on episode 11.
Fuck, I really actually wanted to talk because like not to bring it back to the checks and balances conversation, but it's like is that like what I wanted to ask you was like is that why you support the monarchy or like
no I just love the pageantry.
Is it just kind of like it's kind of like the
I love the pageantry of it all. And I just think that some people from birth are better than most other people.
That's probably empirical. You can probably figure that out, yeah.
And I think that
it's usually based on a bloodline of people who have also
Yeah,
felt
it's
that
like-
way.
It's a family
just
of
because
it's a
you're-
family of hemophiliacs that have the superior bloodline.
Yeah. So to close out, the Queen makes a great cocktail. Join us for episode 12,
Where
our final.
Things are going to get pretty crazy.
We are going to be talking Digimon.
Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the champions.
I can talk Digimon, baby.
Okay, join us then.
Thanks so much for watching.
Bye now. Oh no, the fucking audio cut again.
Did it actually? What?
When though?